Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. Gosh, I hope you can hear me okay. I realized that I haven't put my headphones in, and I'm a little worried that if I do, you won't actually be able to hear me, but I'm going to try. Hopefully it'll connect right away. If it's not, I'll jump back on. I just find that it's much easier to hear me when I've got headphones on. So I'm just going to grab my phone. I can find my phone and make sure that I'm live, and then we will get started. Okay, I see a couple of people on, and that's great. If you can let me know that you can see me and hear me, that would be wonderful, since I just managed to put my headphones in, and now I'm not sure you can hear me. All right. Looking. Hey, Nancy. Okay, can you guys hear me? Kind of give me the thumbs up. Tell me you can hear me. Okay, all right. All right, you can. Perfect, I can hear it. Good, thank you. All right. Gosh, a little bit of technical difficulty is always scary. Thanks for joining me. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Melva Peters, and I'm here with a sketch challenge tonight. It's Tuesday, so therefore it must be a sketch challenge. So if you're coming in on Facebook, I'm glad you joined me. If you're coming in on YouTube, welcome. If it's the first time you found me, definitely welcome. And if it's not the first time you've watched my sketch challenges or any of my lives, welcome back. All right. I really like this sketch. And I got this. We made this card on a recent stamp, a training program that I was on. So I want to thank Allison Okamitsu, who is a demonstrator in Calgary, for sharing this. It's a bit of an easy fancy fold. And so I thought I would share it with you. All right, let me switch over to my desktop and I will show you the sketch. I did post a link to a Google Doc that you can actually download for this sketch. All right, lots of bright colors in my sketch. It looks like a standard card that would be, finished, that would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But in actual fact, it's a fancy fold. And so your card base is cut 5 1/2 by 7 1/4. And you're going to score that at 4 1/4. So it makes this front piece in the kind of light gray be 3 inches, and then the yellow and green strips are actually put on the back of on the inside of your card. So it's kind of a cool way to make this just a really quick fancy fold. All right, so your other pieces, layer number 1, which is the yellow, is 1 inch by 5 1/2. Layer number 2, which is the green, is 1/2 inch by 5 1/2. Layer 3, which is the white, which is where your sentiment's going to go, is 1 inch by 2 3/4. Layer 4, which is the blue, is 1/2 inch by 2 3/4. And then the circle is about 2 by 2. And you could use all sorts of things. You don't actually have to use a circle, but you can. You could actually stamp on your cardstock. You could cut something out, die cut it out, or punch it out. Lots of ways you can do this. As I said, you will be able to download this sketch from the Google Doc that I shared as part of either the Facebook group, Facebook page, or YouTube. All right, let me show you what I'm going to use tonight. I'm using the counting sheep. This is the celebration item, so you can get the sheep, counting sheep stamp set, and then the dies. Each are available for free when you spend $60. So if you spend $120, you could get both the dies and the stamp set. So I'm going to use that. Celebration ends at the end of September. I can't believe we're already almost at the end of September. All right, here's my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 7 1/4. And I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. That's all I need my trimmer for. Fold into the mountain. when you're doing a score. It just makes it much better to fold into the mountain rather than the valley, and you'll actually get a really nice score. So now I've got my piece, and it is hard to see being black, but you can see that I've got, if I put this piece of white inside, you can see that my front is only 3 inches wide. And then my back is 4 1/4, which is a regular size card. The other thing that I'm using, and I knew the name of this last night. Somebody told me the name. I thought this designer series paper was called Playful Patterns, but it's not. It's a hostess set from the annual catalog. And somebody who was on my on my class last night can probably remind me of the name, because I've clearly forgotten. Oh, hello, Deborah from Australia. Yes, good morning. It's let's see, 20 to 7 here on the west coast of Canada. So morning in Australia. So I'm glad you joined me. Party Patterns is the name of this. Thank you, Nancy. It's a great hostess set there. I think there are 40 sheets of 12 by 12, all different patterns. One side is all black and white, and one side is bright patterns. And I'm using this really pretty one with the hearts. I thought it was just kind of really fun. So I've got that piece, which is 1 inch by 5 1/2. I've got a piece of Bermuda Bay, because it goes really nicely with that paper, which is 1/2 inch by 5 1/2. So those pieces are going to go right on the inside of my card base. Now, probably because my card base is black, I'm going to make an inside. So if you're going to put a piece on the inside of your card base, let's see, I just have to figure out what that size is. Oopsie, here goes my camera. Let's do some measurements here. Try to figure this out. I should have thought about this being basic, or the basic black would just definitely. All right, so the inside of the card. So if you make your inside of your card, if you're going to do this and you've got a really dark background, if you make your inside of your card 2 1/2 by 5 1/4, you should be good. She says confidently as she goes ahead and cuts this. All right. If you don't put something on the inside, that's okay, but especially if your card is light. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Bermuda Bay on. Put this on here. Last night I didn't use my silicone mat, and I got I don't know whether it was Stamp and Seal or whether it was the multi-purpose liquid glue already. Oh, 48 sheets. Gosh, yes, it's definitely a good deal. So it is available as a hostess reward that you can purchase. So if you place an order over $200, you will start to accumulate hostess rewards or Stampin' rewards, and you can get this 48 sheets of this amazing paper as part of those hostess rewards or Stampin' rewards. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to butt that right up against, and I'm going to have to do some trimming because my my pieces are just slightly longer than the edge, but that's okay. Just take your paper snips and trim off. And then we will just put this on the inside. And because I've used my paper, my basic white paper, to put on the inside of my card base, I'm going to have to grab another piece of basic white because I want to cut one of the sheet out. So I have to be able to do that. So let me get some paper. And that's while I do that, I'm just going to grab this paper because it is actually stunning paper to show you. So this is the party patterns. No, patterns party, pattern party. So this is the designer series paper. So you can see this one that I've used, and on the back of it is this great stripe. So one side is black and white, and one side are really pretty patterns. I've used this one that's in Granny Apple Green, and then the other side is just a really nice little tiny polka dot. Let's see what else we've got. This one's really pretty with a kind of scallop pattern. And on the other side, I really love this one. It's kind of like a tile pattern. Some great flowers that almost look like they coordinate with the art in bloom. That would be really pretty. And then some diagonal stripes. Great colors. Some more subtle stripes and a dark black and white polka dot. Let's see. Look at that one. This one's really pretty. I got a card that where they had colored all of these leaves. It's so pretty. And then kind of like a fan pattern. Some pretty, I think that must be Calypso coral. Oh, missed some. So kind of like a tiger, no, not a tiger, some kind of animal spot, and a stripe background. I don't know what kind of stripe that is. Looked at that, looked at that. Oh, and then there's some at the back, some great patterns, some misty moonlight and some nice check and bumblebee flower with a buffalo check, some pretty big polka dots, and a nice pattern on that. So one side's black and white and one side's a bright color. Definitely a good deal as a stamping reward. Okay. All right, so I've got my inside of my card done. See how that goes? Kind of a really easy fancy fold. Okay, so now I'm going to take those, and I'm going to stamp using Memento, one of the sheet. This one, I think. And I want to stamp, if I can find it, the hat, the little birthday hat. Just because I thought it was fun. And then the other thing I want to stamp is the sentiment. That's a really big stamp block. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the really cool thing about these stamps is they've got a hole in the middle of them, you may have noticed. So that's because you don't want to get, sometimes when you've got a stamp with a solid center, when you ink it up, you can actually get ink in the middle of your stamp. And so this prevents that. There was a pig stamp a while ago where you would stamp it, and when you press in the middle of it to make sure you pressed, you would get a splotch of ink in the middle. So this actually is a great idea. That won't happen. And I'm just going to cut out the little hat, the birthday hat. Oops, I guess I should have stamped my piece of basic white. So this is one is layer number 3, which is 1 inch by 2 3/4. And I'm going to just stamp my sentiment in the middle. So glad it's your birthday. Okay. Now, I grabbed some blends. I grabbed Bermuda Bay and polished pink, and then my sheep is going to be in smoky slate. So I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to stamp on the back of my color on the back of my sketch. Just always make sure you've got something underneath it, not any of your card making materials, so grid paper or a scrap paper. When you're using the alcohol blends, they will bleed through, and in fact, they should bleed through. If you aren't seeing the ink come through when you're coloring, you're probably not putting enough ink down, is what they say. So I'm just coloring this in the light smoky slate. I tend to always start if you've watched me color before. Start with your light, and then you can go over it with the dark. I saw a really cute one of these sheep done where they had used the subtle shimmer sequence, which is from the Peaceful Place or Peaceful Cabin product suite, and they had used all of the white, they're kind of like vellum colored sequence, and covered it, the whole sheet, using those sequence, so it looked like curly wool like a sheep would have. It was so cute. I have run out of those sequence, so I've been making a fair number of shaker cards, and so I had to put an order in for them, but I don't have any to do that tonight with. So I'm just going to color his hooves dark, and I'm just going to kind of do some shading around just to give it a little bit of detail. There we go. And then go back over using your light again, just to kind of blend in where you've done, put the dark. You don't have to go over the whole thing. It's just really laying down some additional color to blend that in. Okay. Now I'm going to color. I'm going to make my birthday hat really bright, and then I'm going to color the background in Bermuda Bay. So that was polished pink, and just go around it in Bermuda Bay. Now I'm going to cut those out, that hat out by hand, but I'm going to cut out the sheep using these amazing dies. So if you haven't seen, there's this great fence rail, the sheep, the 3 different sheep, a balloon, a star. Oh, there's a little, I didn't realize there was a die. Of course there's a die for the hat. Some clouds, sun, and a little flag. So we'll just use this. Just going to use a piece of Post-it note tape to put on here, hold it in place. And then the same with my birthday hat, like that. Hopefully that will hold that in place. And I'm just going to go, I shall bring my machine in. Sometimes I don't get my paper thin enough, and I have to use my big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right. There we go. Take that off. Move this back. She's so cute. Right, let's peel this off. Oh, don't lose the hat. All right, that back. Put that back. All right. So I've got this. Let's kind of get this in the right spot. I realized I cut my layer number 4. This should have been 1/2 inch by 2 3/4, but that's okay. I'm going to adhere it down, and I will just put the sentiment piece over top of it and make it 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to put that about 3/4 of an inch or so from the bottom, like that. And then I'm just going to adhere this down. I was debating about whether I want to use dimensionals, but I think I'm just going to make it flat. So we'll cover it over and make that green layer about 1/2 inch. Now let's use dimensionals. These great black dimensionals. They're really nice to use when your cardstock is dark, and then they don't show. So if you use the white dimensionals on basic black cardstock, they really show when you see kind of on the side of them. So we're just going to put that up. I probably should have cut out a balloon to put in his hand. Let me see if I can find a piece of Bermuda Bay. I think he needs a Bermuda Bay balloon. So maybe a couple of Bermuda Bay balloons. It's nothing like creating on the fly here. Hopefully. You have ideas about what your cards should look like, and then as you start creating, other ideas come to mind. So, and that's kind of the cool thing about sketches. This sketch you could absolutely use on a piece of regular cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5 and then folded. So a regular card base, and not make it a fancy fold if you didn't want to do that. And it still would work just fine. You would just, of course, not put those two pieces down the side. You would put them on the front of your card and not the inside of your card. All right, so there's a couple of balloons for my sheep to hang on to. There we go. Find my take your pick tool to get that second balloon out. For some reason it didn't want to come out. Here we go. All right, don't need that. So now let's put the balloons like that. Oh, that's good. That's much better. And then I've got some of this is the Essentials Baker's Twine Essential Pack. And so this is actually gray granite, but it will work just fine. I'm going to tie a bit of a bow. I'm just going to kind of put that behind. Let's put these on with dimensionals to start with. I'm just going to put a dimensional right on the balloon, like that and like that. Put that kind of underneath his hoof. That, and then let's see if I can feed this underneath here. Take your pick tool. And just kind of feed that underneath there, like that. Kind of. There we go. Like that. Oh, pulled it out. Well, but I also pulled my balloons out, so let's just put it underneath like that. So that can go there. Push those underneath again. Like that. You could put a glue dot on those if you want. And then I'm just going to cut this twine. And I'm going to tie tie a bow. Like it's holding the balloons together. Like that. Yeah. Come out. I'm going to have to use a glue dot. All right, that works too. Let's get a glue dot here with my take your pick tool. Put it underneath my balloons like that. Push those underneath the hoof. Well, that was way fiddlier than I thought it was going to be, but that's all right. I think it's going to look great with the balloons. Okay, so then tie a little bow. Like that. There we go. And now the last thing I want is to use the mini dimensional on the birthday hat. Right, and we'll just put the birthday hat on the sheep's head. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I like it when cards turn out, despite having to kind of rethink something there. All right, so somebody asked me when I finish my card on a sketch, could I put my card beside the sketch so they can see? And so here we go. So it looks pretty similar. I just didn't use the circle. So I could have stamped, but here I've cut out a sheep and put some balloons on it. That's kind of, my circle. You could cut out a circle and stamp on it. That would work as well. And then the inside of the card, I will do some writing on the inside of the card. Isn't this pretty? I just love the bright colors. Gosh. And so if you had done this as a 5.5 by 8.5, this would be the front of your card, and you wouldn't, you would open it and you would have a full piece, full card in the inside. But on this one, I've only got a little bit to write. So either way, you can make this with regular cardstock using, instead of 5.5 by 7.25, you can make it 5.5 by 8.5 and make a standard card. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate that you jumping on tonight and the comments and to hear where you're from. If you like, I will be back on Thursday night at 6:30 Pacific with another live. I usually do a card or technique or something like that on Thursday nights. So come and join me at 6:30 Pacific. And then on Saturday, I will be live at 2 p.m. Pacific, only in my Facebook group. And I did put the link to my Facebook group in the description for the video. So whether you're coming in through my Facebook page or you're coming in through YouTube, if you're in my group, you already know where I do my mystery challenges. But if you're in either of those, feel free to join my group and join in on the mystery challenge. I post the clue for the mystery challenge at about 9 a.m. Pacific on Saturday morning. So, and then I will be back at 12 noon Pacific on Sunday with another technique or project of some sort. So anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. Don't forget, Celebration ends at the end of September. So if you've got things on your wish list and you haven't picked up some of the amazing products in Celebration, time's running out. So you actually only have 9 days to take advantage of some of the great products in Celebration. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. Happy stamping. Bye.